Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and frenemies, welcome to yet again another episode of the Simon Tefula Show. This week I have someone really special. It is my producer. So the Simon Tefula Show behind the scenes has this gentleman doing all the magic. So we thought, hey, after 19 episodes, season 1, why not actually begin to find out more about the person behind the camera and his journey, because this is really an unusual story. So, welcome to the show, Mouse.
Thank you.
It's so weird saying that, man.
Yeah.
So, Miles, tell me, where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
So, I was born in a town in Dunstable, so that's not far from Luton. Born there.
Yeah.
Grew up there my whole life. Never moved out. Yeah, that's
Cool.
That's it.
And so you currently obviously live in London right now.
Yes. Yeah.
How have you ended up in London?
So, ever since I was about 14 or 15 when I got into making videos, I knew that I wanted to pursue this as a career.
Yeah.
And I heard about this university called Ravensbourne.
Yeah.
Two of my cousins went there, and then I googled it and I was like, oh my god, this place looks amazing, back when I was 14, 15, and ever since then I was like, right, I'm going to that uni. That was, my heart was set on it, that ever since 4 years ago I was like, that's the place for me. And eventually, so I went through GCSEs, went through my A levels, and now we're here. Got into university, living in London, and it's going off.
Amazing, cool. So entrepreneurship is obviously now part of your life.
Yeah.
You're on the hustle, you're on the grind. You started really early.
Yeah.
So first of all, do you have any kind of siblings or family that are entrepreneurs at all?
Not really. I know for a fact. So I was always too young to talk to my granddad about this.
Okay.
But I know that he was always interested in making investments and things like that.
Yeah.
So he had a normal 9-to-5 job, but I'm pretty sure that he invested in companies and things like that, stocks.
Yeah.
So there's that end of it. And I guess, and I didn't think about this as an influence, but my mum has her own little craft business. And it's not huge. She doesn't make loads of money, but it is something,
and you've been able to see and kind of
understanding the basics of a small business. I think that's definitely influenced it.
Yeah. So tell me, what is your name? What's the name of your company? And obviously, what does it do?
So we are Kirkstone Media, and we are a social media content creation and distribution company.
Okay.
So that's how I sell myself.
Okay.
Obviously, within that, we have a lot of different avenues.
Yeah.
But as the basics elevator, that's what we are.
Cool. In terms of your services, what exactly do you offer? So break it down.
So the reason why we sell ourselves as social media content is because we offer photography, videography, podcasting, and obviously social media distribution and management. Okay. So that's all the services we offer for the company. Yeah,
so folks, if you need a podcast setup, if you need video content, have you ever wanted to launch your own podcast? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a creative? Are you an SME? Are you an entrepreneur basically trying to get a bit of visibility like myself? If you need, to get, basically every entrepreneur, every company is now a media company, right?
Yeah.
So eventually you have to get your message out there. If you do not know how to do it manually, you either get someone to help you do it, you partner with somebody, or you pay somebody, or you basically learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly,
and actually you offer all those services.
Exactly.
So you teach people to do it for themselves, DIY. You offer services essentially, and basically you just make things happen. So obviously the other thing I want to know is what stage are you at right now?
So I mean the company officially launched a month and a half ago.
Okay.
So obviously we're super early stages, but I'd say before then I've had a experience and
you got a massive portfolio.
Well, exactly, and I think that it was in terms of business, obviously we are early stages, but and it's being established only for a month and a half, the creation of it and the process up to it has been going on for about 2 years.
Amazing.
Whenever I was in education, obviously I was always trying to do stuff, make some money, get companies to just send me products so I could go and photograph it or something like that. And so we are early stages, but things are growing rapidly. Things are really going off, so we're early stages at the minute.
So tell me what have been some of your highlights? What have been some of your successes? Obviously, the company's only been going for a month and a half, but like you actually had some pretty big clients. So I want to know about one of the highlights you had, and maybe one of the lowest ones, but let's start with the highlights. So in terms of, you did work with someone at Sky.
Yeah.
Yes, so how did that come about?
So I'm into cycling, that's like my hobby, and following, obviously everyone's connected nowadays in social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I followed this guy he works at Sky, and he's also a photographer in his own time, so similar to me. And I'd followed him, and I'd always saw his content. And so I was at the Tour of Britain in London one day, and I saw him in the street over by like Team Sky or Team Wiggins, something like that. Yeah. And I was like, that's that guy. I was like, that's him. I was like, that's Gareth. So I went over and I was like, are you Gareth? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, how do you know me? Obviously, because he hasn't got a massive following online. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I've just seen your Instagram work, like really cool and everything. And so he got chatting to me, he followed me back, and he was like, oh, actually, like, your stuff's pretty cool, which for me, when I was 16, was like pretty like, oh my God, like this guy's like said my content's cool. And then we were in sixth form, and they were like, oh, you guys are going to have to find some work experience. They were like, you've got a week off school, but you need to go do work experience. Of course, and so I just dropped him a message on Instagram. I was like, I don't suppose you remember me. But don't suppose any chance I could co-work at Sky for a week. And there was some issues with it. Sky are quite funny about who they have on because they run their own, they call it, I think, early starters or something like that. And so they're a bit funny about people going in through the back door. But luckily he got me on, and he set me really right up. So there's this thing on Sky called Fit Freaks. And it's like a gym. It's like this idea of getting fit in 5, so like 5 minutes, you go do your exercise. And he runs, Sky have a gym, so he goes to those classes, and he was like, I'll come along and photograph it. And I was like, oh, this must just be like just getting me to do it for my personal thing. But no, actually, he set it up so that the guy would then repost it on his social media. So that was pretty huge. And obviously not a paid gig, but to do that like at 16 years old was like huge. So that was my first experience of it. That's definitely a high point.
But I mean, because one of the things you learn from there is like you just have to go and ask. Like if you have an idea, if you want to do something, you see somebody that presents an opportunity, or somebody you've always wanted to know or talk to at a past level, just go and ask, right? That's incredible. So in terms of, obviously, like, I know that you've worked with other people on different projects. Like, because you were telling me about a challenging project that you did when you were, at uni. But I don't know, like, basically, like, in terms of, like, because obviously when you're making a movie or project, like, you have to work with lots of people sometimes. So anything else in terms, I mean, obviously things are super early right now. But like,
I definitely like you go through with film as well because it is literally your passion. Like it's your hobby. And so it can be sort of literally detrimental to almost your mental health. How well a shoot goes, how well a film has come out. I mean, obviously I've only been at uni for 7 months. But first month of uni, like that was a major like low point. Like just starting uni. And like first film didn't go too well. And it was like, oh, like it was quite a setback. Other things were going really cool. Like I just met you.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
And so there was like other side to it that was great. But there's definitely low points, and always within it, you might get annoyed at yourself, like you've been on a client shoot and you get back, none of that's exactly how I wanted to be, and it really sets you back, and really knocks your confidence.
So how do you pick yourself up back again, and when that happens?
I think like the way I pick myself up is firstly like talking to friends. Like talking to people's huge. And even like just showing people your content. Like I had a bad shoot, and then I just get some friends to look at it, and they're like, no, like it's good. It's sort of like and it
salvage something from it.
Exactly, it picks you back up.
Amazing.
And I think that's a huge thing is that especially film schools and film degrees, they're so competitive, like ridiculously competitive. But like my main group of friends always like are supporting me, and I think that's a great thing.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. So in your industry, again, you've just mentioned it's really competitive, right? What do you think are the skills required to succeed in this industry? I know obviously you've only just set out, but
obviously,
what do you think?
I think determination is like a massive thing. because at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone better than you. And the key thing with like content creation is that someone's better than you and you can't just wing it.
Okay.
Like in a business or like in terms of business skills, you can just maybe talk the talk. Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas at the end of the day, if you haven't got that photo or haven't got that video, like it's like it's not there. Like it's really hard to try and sell yourself because obviously people want to see your work. And you can't just make up work. Like it's got to be there. And so I think that's like the biggest thing is determination. Like knowing that obviously there's someone better than you. But still applying yourself to every shoot and just trying to push yourself to the best you can be.
Do you know what's interesting? I always hear people in the movie industry say you're only as good as your last project.
Yeah, that's completely true. Yeah.
So you're only good as your last portfolio, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
If portfolio is not looking great, then...
Yeah, that's a massive thing, yeah. I mean, in my film degree, like we split into groups for each film. And if someone had a bad film last time, chances are people aren't going to want to jump and work with them. Whereas if you had a great film, so everyone wants to jump onto it. So,
amazing. Oh, great, fantastic. So, like, I mean, we've spoken about obviously the fact that being an entrepreneur is really hard and stuff.
Yeah.
But let's first move back. So, when I met you maybe 6 months ago.
Yes. Yeah.
So, first of all, I go to lots of networking events, right?
Yeah.
And I know the people that run this event, but I went to this event, and obviously that's where I met you. But I wanted to think about the psychology of why you are actually there in the first place, because a lot of people that are at uni don't usually go out to network to kind of meet industry professionals and stuff like. They kind of just like do their own thing. So, what made you want to on an ordinary evening, or you could have been out drinking with your friends, or what made you to actually say, look, I'm going to dress up and actually go to this event and meet some people?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's two sides to it. So, I mean, just to reference, it was the startup van.
Yeah.
But it was a particular episode that 2 YouTubers went to.
Yeah, you follow those YouTubers.
Yeah, and so I'm also big into my cars, and they both do that.
Yeah.
And so they had talked about the event.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I want to go meet those YouTubers. Like, it wasn't that sort of fanboy thing.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is a startup event.
Yeah.
I'm new to London.
Yeah.
I'm young. I can't charge like $1,000 a day for my work. I'm still starting at that low level.
Yeah.
And I saw it as an opportunity. I was like, look, this is a startup event.
Yeah.
And I had this like idea in my head. I was like, startups, like they can't afford to put loads of money into marketing.
Yeah.
People don't trust me with loads of money yet.
Yeah.
So why not just go for it and dress up a bit, go to these and position myself to any startup owners there and just say, look, if you need video content or photo content, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get there, you're standing outside and you bump into another startup founder who's actually become really famous now. And then, so I get into the building. So just again for references, so the startup van have a monthly event where they kind of like showcase, I think it's called Behind the Curtains. Yeah, so basically, they showcase an entrepreneur that has done something really interesting, but they never tell you who the guest is. So the whole idea is you just show up and then they just surprise you. Someone just comes out of that. Anyway, so we meet there, we start talking. I obviously, tell you about what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, look, I've been trying to think about, doing X, Y, and Z. And I've had some ideas around the show. You want to come, check out my place? And then and so what I found really interesting is that you are so on the ball, you're very committed, you're completely consistent, you're you're always on point. So when I invited you over, you came over, we went through it, you got it straight away. We didn't have to do a lot of analysis and have paper. We'll talk about that in a bit. But so basically I think one of the things I want to find out is, okay, so I pitched you this idea, I want to set up a show, right?
Yeah, sure.
And obviously I was trying to figure out what it was going, what the format was going to look like. What was really crucial is you gave me guidance in terms of how to shoot and and I think there were 2 key things. Number one, never really done anything like this before.
Yeah.
So you actually end up giving media training. And number 2, the whole kind of producing and script, the sequencing of it is really well. it seemed like you'd actually done this before, although you hadn't really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, of course, like we've kind of been learning as we go along.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think the key thing here is that, if you have an idea, you can partner with somebody, and if you all like bring some sort of benefit to the table.
Exactly, yeah.
For me, I always think it has to be a win-win.
Yeah.
So what I said was like, look, I have access to an office space and a membership in a massively huge startup community,
exactly, yeah.
which would enable you to get more opportunities, meet some more people, and get access to a free, office space.
Free office, exactly, yeah.
And potentially more clients. And so we thought, hey, let's figure it out. And you've been really helpful in that sense. So I just want to acknowledge the fact that you've really, really helped me. Like there'd be no show without you. Like, so the other thing I want to talk about is, okay, like, we talk about, mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
Like, how do you look after, you mentioned this, you alluded to this earlier. How do you look after your well-being and mental health? Like, what do you do? Like,
yeah. Well, firstly, thank you for saying all those nice things.
Yeah, no, honestly, look, I have to make this really clear. Like, I'm really, really grateful. Like, it's incredible. Like,
yeah.
I was nothing, like, you know what I mean? I am still, I'm on the come up, but like, you've really helped me, and I just wanted to acknowledge that publicly. And the thing is that when you are starting out, it's hard. No one believes.
Yeah, exactly.
No one cares. But like, you came around the right time.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, how do you look after mental health and well-being?
Yeah, I think a massive thing for me is like friends.
Oh yeah, you said. Yeah.
Like friends and family. Like I'm pretty lucky that a lot of my friends and family like support it.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of my like new uni friends, like people that I've only met 6 months ago. They're all like behind it. They all back me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a massive thing.
Yeah.
And I think mental health, like naturally, I'm not too much of a like depressive person.
Yeah.
Especially because of the fact that now I get to do what I love for a job.
Yeah.
And so that just helps generally with your mental health.
Yeah.
But and also, although I haven't been as much recently, like exercise, so cycling.
Oh yes.
Huge thing.
You're
cycling.
a cyclist, aren't you?
Yeah. And cycling is actually proven as one of the best remedies for depression.
Oh wow.
They say if you can go out on a bike, it's actually better than taking antidepressants and everything like that.
Oh wow.
Because the just naturally, like I think it's something to do with like the amount of air you take in, and obviously you do exercise, so endorphins.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a huge thing. So in the winter, like it bogs down a bit, and I don't do it as much. But in the summer, like it definitely helps, and it's a good time to clear your mind.
Of course.
Go out on an hour bike ride in the morning. You don't need to think about anything for an hour.
Yeah.
You just clear everything, or even it's a time for reflection. So especially back at home when I had access to like immediate countryside, you could just go out into the lanes for an hour and just reflect on everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's something actually I'm quite good at doing, is that I love being with friends and everything, but I also like my own time. I think like my own time gives me time to reflect on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really incredible. Like, you're well balanced in terms of that. So the other thing I was going to say is, look, if someone has an idea, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to them to encourage them to like get it started? Like maybe 2 or 3 tips.
Yeah, sure. I think like one major thing is like just start. Yeah. And obviously we've had that said on the podcast before, but it's a crucial thing. Like just start. Me and you have talked about that loads of times. Yeah. Is that like don't overanalyze things. Just do it, and then find the remedies afterwards. We did it with the podcast. Like we said, like I hadn't really had experience of doing this before. First podcast, but I was like, I know how to do video. I can do some audio. Like we'll work it out, and then like 4 episodes into it, it's fine. We got like our process sorted. And so I think it's the same for anyone that wants to start a business. Just start. And another thing from that is don't overanalyze your own skills. Don't almost put yourself down. I know it's related to mental health, and if you're like naturally a depressive person or something like that, it's harder. But really, like just like don't overanalyze yourself. You'll be good enough, and eventually, like something will happen. You'll get a lead, and that will make everything like kick off. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. And the other thing I like about your approach is that you are a go-getter. Like you don't wait for opportunities to come to you. You go out there and you knock on doors. You ask. You find opportunities. Because a lot of people just think, oh, just because even if you have the best product or service, no one's going to beat a path to your door.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to do that. So you're really good at actually like being proactive in terms of going out and speaking to people, and you're really good at building relationships too.
Yeah, sure.
Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and
yeah.
so. Because obviously, when I got you into this community, I know people who sort of like are in this co-working space that just get here, get their head down, and just do their work. They don't actually say hello to the person who's desk next to them. There's always somebody different sat next to you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always somebody at the coffee machine, but you always make the effort to actually go out and actually like just say hello to people, and on your days of uni or in between when you come through the office, like you build those relationships, and in a very short amount of time, like you're working with corporate clients and you're building relationships with them, and that's great. So I think maybe that's the third thing I'd probably add to that, which is the fact that maybe you haven't mentioned it, but build relationships and put yourself out there.
Well, something to add on to that, I think, is that, like you said, not every, like, even if you've got the best service, no one's going to come to you. And I think that's actually a huge thing, is that I might not necessarily be the best cinematographer out there. I might not be the best editor. But because I go out and talk to people, like, if you're not talking to anyone, no one's going to know about you. It's the same as social media, like marketing. If you're not posting on socials, no one's going to know about you. And it's the same principle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's incredible. So obviously we've spoken about this for quite a while now, but like, where do you see your company in 3 to 5 years time?
Yeah, sure, man. So I mean, like I think my 3-year point and my 5-year point are quite different. Okay. So obviously I'm in uni and I'm first year. And so
can you believe that?
Yeah. So that's the thing. So like I don't want to drop out of, even if the money came, I'm not keen on dropping out of uni just because I want that degree to fall back on. Okay. And I believe I can learn a lot to help me from my degree. Yeah. Because it's not free education, but it's education which I wouldn't have got elsewhere. Yeah. And so my 3-year plan is just to make sure I've got sort of hopefully some stable clients on board that I just work for those like select few. Yeah. And I just make their content for them, and that is like the ideal. Yeah. And hopefully by the end of actually my 3rd year, I'm hoping that I can maybe have someone employed on like a freelance basis, so someone I get in regularly to freelance with me. Okay. That would be great. Yeah. And then 5 year, I'd hope to really ramp things up as soon as uni finishes. Yeah. Really ramp it up so that like maybe in 5 years time, like a permanent employee. Okay. That would be like that's the dream goal. So,
amazing.
So
yeah, but of course you're already in a trajectory.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I could definitely take things quicker than that. Yeah. But it's like the uni barrier. Yeah. Because obviously I don't want to fail 2nd or 3rd year just because I'm making some money.
So you're actually limiting the amount of work. Yeah, you're being very selective, in the amount of work you're taking on, because you want to make sure that you have the right balance between between uni and So the other thing I was going to ask you, and I always ask this one for us, is have you read a book that's impacted you the most?
So we talked about this, and I don't read much. Like
Generation Z, Gen Z. Don't
read much, but like podcasts is like something I think is major, and so
apart from listening to the Simon Tefula show,
but yeah, there's a podcast called the OF Poddy, which is just his initials. I think it's Ollie Fawcett I think it's Ollie Fawcett, and he runs a company called Green Tea Productions, and they're like, that's like the goal. Okay. I mean, he has like, I think 2 permanent employees, and he's like 20, I think he's like 22, 23. So that's pretty mad. Maybe he's a bit older, but he's still like super young to have 2 employees and an office. Like, that's huge. Yeah. And so he posts these podcasts. They sound absolutely crap. Like, he records them on his like Apple earphones on the walk to work.
So you can hear the
like wind noise, click sounds, everything. But like, he just says it how it is. He gives loads of tips and tricks. Like, obviously for my industry, it's perfect. Yeah. But in terms of like the general wider scope, he gives loads of good business tips. And I think that's something that inspired me, is to seeing he was at my position. Yeah. So 17, 18, he didn't go to uni, but instead just started. Yeah. And like, he's the same position as me, and so it's a big inspiration to see like that's possible. Yeah. So that's a huge thing. Amazing. Yeah. So that's it.
Wow. Cool. So you don't really read books; you just listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Cool. So is there a piece of tech, one piece of tech you can't do without? If your house was on fire, your whole residence on fire, what would you grab first to run out of the house?
So I wanted to try and think of something like edgy or cool that I could say that's different to what everyone else says, but I think it would actually be my Mac.
Of
like
course.
like that's just impossible to live without.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's something like my camera.
Yeah.
It's like almost like camera and Mac, but I can't give two. So my Mac, like without that, wouldn't be able to edit. Wouldn't be able to do anything. Like I live my life on my Mac.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just essential for what I do. So
absolutely. And of course, being a content producer myself, like I know how hard post-production is. A lot of people think that shooting is the easiest part, but actually like post-production and editing is what takes a long time. But so of course you want to have a solid machine that allows you to do that.
And actually touching on that, like people out there with day rates.
Like
this is why your day rates are high, because of post-production. Exactly. People take your day rate as like, you came and filmed with me for one day, that's your work ended. But no, the reason why your day rate is like £600-700 is because they've got to then spend another 2 or 3 days editing whatever they've done. And
absolutely,
so
I mean, you've had to educate a lot of people that so someone says, come do something for me for a couple of hours. What they don't realize is, if you're just shooting them for a couple of hours, that's going to take a whole day or two. Or a week even to break it down, depending on what kind of content they want.
For sure,
So, so a lot of people have unrealistic expectations. Just think someone has a camera, how hard could it be? Until they realize how hard it is to actually chop it down and get it to the we've just done a 30-second commercial. It took us how many days to do that?
Like,
it took us a long time. It was like a week to do that. So do not underestimate somebody with a camera, and just because they film me for an hour doesn't mean just pay them an hour's wage. It's actually way more than that. So tell me, who is the one person so far in your young life that's inspired you the most?
I think inspiration is like an interesting one. I wouldn't say like there's maybe one person, but like a group of people or like a certain just like a general group of people, like content creators I see. Like obviously, like with my generation, we all went through that like YouTube, like everyone watches YouTube, everyone. And so there was a lot of like vloggers that were photographers, videographers. And I think one person that massively inspired me was a guy called Ben Brown. And a guy called Steve Booker. They were both YouTubers / still are. Like they don't really upload as regularly now. But they both amazing photographers and videographers. That like just like insane content. Really cool content. And that was a massive inspiration. So I think those two are probably I did say I'm going back on my statement now. So they're two people that did inspire me. But I think like as a general like group of people, like content creators that are like really up there, that a lot of, if there's like photographers or like videographers listening, like people like Peter McKinnon and things like that, they just, their standard of work is insane. And I think people like Ollie Fawcett that I like said about his podcast, like a young guy doing the same as me, like huge inspiration.
Amazing. So like I do this thing called Simon T Says, right? 1 minute of motivation, inspiration, and encouragement to get you through the week. So if someone was to come up to you and say, and they were down and need a bit of uplifting and inspiration, what would you say? What is, do you have like a quote or a catchphrase or something that you would, what would you say to someone to hype them up into a catchphrase?
So normally I'm not really that quote guy. I'm not really.
I know the cliche.
I'm not that cliche quote, and I'm not into like people like coaches or things like that. That's not really my thing. But I think like so like obviously what we touched on earlier about like just starting or like almost like Nike's catchphrase of like just do it. Like just go for it, just do it. And if it goes wrong, at least you've learned something.
Absolutely.
But if it goes right, that's led you on to new opportunities. And I think that's a huge thing. Like, just go and do it.
Just do it. Okay, cool, fantastic. Great, man. It's been amazing. I mean, like we're on this journey together. Obviously, you're still helping with this show. Like we don't know where it's gonna go, but like it's a really exciting journey because obviously there's so many opportunities in the pipeline that we're working on.
Sure, exactly.
And of course, the whole idea with this show is to profile emerging entrepreneurs and creatives from all sorts of backgrounds, because what we want to do is obviously keep that trajectory going. When we first started working together, we decided that let's profile emerging creatives and entrepreneurs. Because what we want to do is we want to show that trajectory.
Exactly.
Because it's more relatable to people, right?
For sure, yeah.
We want to make sure that, maybe every quarter, maybe 3-4 months, we catch up with guests we've interviewed, just to find out where they are, because there's so many other podcasts out there, so many other shows that only interview the super successful people, look at me, I'm super successful and I'm preaching the gospel of success and that, the humble braggers.
Yeah, exactly. We did
another show about humble braggers on LinkedIn, man. Like, oh my God, it's madness, man. I always wonder, why do people always do that on LinkedIn, man?
Right.
Like the humble bragging, right? I'm so honored / to have been nominated, and oh my God.
Oh man.
The light's not loving us. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep like trajectory. So again, we'll catch up maybe in about 3, 4, 6 months, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then find out when something significant happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
We will, come back and obviously figure out where you are, and we'll keep touching base. So how can people connect with you?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm across all platforms. Okay. But obviously having Kirkstone and me, there's like a few different ones. I'm just going to list them all, just get that out there.
Yeah.
So like Instagram is just like @MilesCapp. Okay. And obviously my LinkedIn just page is like Miles Capp.
Yeah.
And then
Capp is spelled with a double P.
Yeah, double P, so CAPP.
Miles like Miles Davis, the jazz musician.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously Kirkstone Media, so we're on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, just Kirkstone Media.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can connect with me there. Drop me a message if you want anything.
Yeah.
If you want videos made for you, content made for you, social media strategies, you can come to us. Yeah. And yeah, that's how you can connect with me.
Yeah, so as you can see by the production of this show, man runs a well-oiled machine. He runs it like military precision. Go old, he will sort you out basically. You're on a podcast launch, So so man, thank you so much. Appreciate your help. Nice and man, we'll keep it going, man. Cool.
Sick.
That's it. Done.